Counting down the minutes to the first pitch of today's game.
Yes!
Who's in the starting lineup?
Come on, son. You got to get out there and take the mound. It's game time.
What does the skipper have to say?
It's an attitude. You got to be willing to defend. You got to be willing to base run, or you can't play here.
It's the leadoff show on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
Welcome into the leadoff show here on Tuesday, August 28th. The Milwaukee Brewers and the Seattle Mariners here tonight. The Brewers 77-48, the best record in baseball, taking on the Mariners, who are 59-66. Probably one of two of the most disappointing teams in baseball this season. Kyle Harrison is on the mound for the Brewers. The lefty's 9-3 with a 2.99 ERA against Bryce Miller, 4-6 with a 3.39 ERA. And when we get to Eye on the Enemy, we'll talk about his struggles as of late. This is game number 126, home game number 64 for the Brewers. Welcome, Aaron, to the leadoff show. Aaron Morse with you. It is the opener between the Brewers and the Mariners. It is the opener of a 6-game homestand for the Brewers. They'll take 3 with the Mariners, 3 with the Braves over the weekend before a day off Monday, and then another one of those brutal stretches, 16 games in 16 days for the Brewers coming up starting next Tuesday. All right, let's get into it. Time for the starting lineups.
Looking up, and it is gone.
It's almost time for the first pitch. Let's see who's in today's starting lineups. Brought to you by Lakeland University. Experience it your way. Visit lakeland.edu. It's the leadoff show on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
All right, starting lineups. We'll begin with the visitors. The Seattle Mariners will lead off. Third baseman Brendan Donovan, the former Cardinal. Hitting second and left field, Randy Arozarena. Designated hitter bats third, Dominic Canzone. Julio Rodriguez is in center field, batting fourth. Josh Naylor at first base bats fifth. Batting sixth, the second baseman Cole Young. Cal Raleigh down on the 7th spot. He's catching. Victor Robles in right field, 8th. And Brock Rodden, the shortstop, batting 9th. For the Milwaukee Brewers, Bryce Terang is back. He is at second base, leading off. Jackson Churio hits second in left field. Jake Bowers at first base, batting third. William Contreras back into the top part of the order in the cleanup spot. He's catching. Christian Yelich raised a couple spots, designated hitter, batting fifth. Luis Lars, 6th. He is in right field. Garrett Mitchell, center fielder, and the 7-hole Joy Ortiz at shortstop, batting 8th, and David Hamilton at third base rounds out the lineup for the Milwaukee Brewers. So Contreras and Yelich moved back up after a couple of games, at least a little bit. No Andrew Vaughn. It's Ortiz and David Hamilton on the left side of the infield. And we'll see how it works. Let's listen to Sparky on the way in here, and he was saying, what are these guys doing to get moved up in the order? And talking, well, and then, usually when we complain about lineups, the team goes off and they score 10 runs, and it's like, okay, well, I guess we can't complain about that anymore. But this is probably one of those lineups that is going to get a negative reaction from the majority of Brewers fans. Contreras hitting fourth has not been good over the last 2 months. Yelich, we all know that story. Garrett Mitchell is hitting just over 100 over the past, I don't know where that note went now. It's been a long time since Garrett Mitchell has looked good. He's 8 for 74. His last 74 bats, 108 batting average. He's in the lineup. Luis Lara hit 200 on the recent road trip. So guys not going too well here as of late. We'll see if they can get it going against Bryce Miller. It's been a little bit since the Brewers played a game. So let's do a little bit of a rewind for you.
Did you miss the last game? Did you miss what was said after the last game? It's time to rewind. It's the leadoff show on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
Well, the last time the Brewers played was over 48 hours ago, about 48 hours ago. And they beat the Dodgers, rather. Brewers beat the Dodgers 6-2. They won that series 3-1 after the sky was falling. let's take a little reminder of how that game went. The Brewers got a couple of runners on in the first inning against Tarek Skubal, but could not score. Logan Henderson started for the Brewers after a leadoff single from Ohtani, 1-2-3 the rest of the way. The Brewers did get on the board in that second inning, a one-out walk from Brandon Lockridge. Jonathan Ornelas, or Johnny Rockets, singled to left, and Contreras walked to load the bases. That allowed Luis Lara to come up, and a little bit of some help from the Dodgers.
2. Lara, chopper, going to be a tough play. Betts coming in. He flips it to second, and it's mishandled at second. That was too hot of a flip from Betts to Edman. Everybody's safe. The Brewers are on the board.
And the Brewers led 1-0 after 1.5 innings. Leadoff single was eventually raised in a double play. Another 0 for Henderson. Each team going 1-2-3 till the bottom of the fourth inning. A 2-out solo homer by Max Muncy on a 2-0 count tied the game at 1. But the Brewers were able to answer right back in the top of the fifth inning, getting it going with 2 outs. Jackson Churio doubled the right field, and then Jake Bowers was able to come through for the Brewers.
And Bowers into right field, a base hit. Churio around third will score easily. Jake Bowers continues to shine. Jake rakes. It's his third hit of the game. Puts the Brewers in front 2-1.
The Brewers did lead 2-1, a 1-2-3 inning from Logan Henderson. The sixth inning went 1-2-3 for both teams. And then Edgardo Henriquez came in relief for the Dodgers, and the Brewers got to him again with 2 outs. Jackson Churio singled, and then Jake Bowers, he did it again.
And then hung on to win it. Oh, Bowers ropes one into the gap. Churio on his horse. That's all the way to the wall. Churio around third. He's going to score. And Jake Bowers is red hot. It's an RBI double. It is 3-1 Milwaukee.
Very quickly, right after, Andrew Vaughn came up.
Bowers, the club leader. Now Vaughn smokes one through base hit. They're going to wind up Bowers. Here he comes. Hernandez throw is on a hop. The tag, not in time. Bowers with a great slide.
You could hear the fans in that clip started to cheer, Dodgers fans. The ball beat Bowers to the bag. It was a close play. Tag never was applied and actually wasn't close thanks to the slide by Bowers. And after 6.5 innings, the Brewers led it 4-1. Dodgers got a leadoff walk, but Logan Henderson completed 7 innings for the first time in his major league career. He was fantastic in the game. If it wasn't for Jake Bowers, he might be the player of the game, the MVP of that one. He might be the MVP either way. 3 hits over 7 innings, 1 earned run against the Dodgers. The Brewers were able to add on a couple of insurance runs in the 9th inning after Aaron Ashby came in and got a Ohtani double play to end the 8th when he was the tying run. David Hamilton came to the plate and got that insurance run.
See what he does. 1-2, and Hamilton on the ground. Everybody's running, and that's off the glove of Edman. This is going to bring in 2 more runs. Tommy Edman was getting in position to catch and throw, and he whiffed. And it is a complete failure by the Dodgers here. 6-1 Brewers.
6-1 Brewers went to the bottom of the 9th. Andy Pages with a home run that meant nothing. 6-2 the final score. The Brewers beat the Dodgers. They win the season series 4-3. They won the series out west 3-1. Logan Henderson, as I mentioned, was fantastic. 7 innings, 3 hits, 1 walk, 1 earned on 93 efficient pitches. Chad Patrick did struggle. The 3 batters he faced, I mentioned Ashby and then D.L. Hall, close it out. They did hit Skubal around pretty well, although they only got 2 runs, 1 of them earned against him, 6 innings, 7 hits, 2 walks. So they fared pretty well against Skubal in 2 matchups this year, 1 with Detroit, 1 with L.A., and the Brewers won't see the Dodgers again, maybe, until the playoffs. We'll see if they do end up facing them come October. All right, so the Brewers win it 6-2. They, again, as I mentioned, have the best record in baseball, 77-48. That is a game and a half better than the Tampa Bay Rays at 75-49. It is 2.5 better than the Dodgers and 3 better than the Atlanta Braves. Brewers are 4.5 up on the Chicago Cubs in the NL Central Division after the Cubs walked off last night. And in terms of home records, this is game 64 for the Brewers. So in 63 games, they're 41-22. That is one game back of the best home record in baseball, which the Tampa Bay Rays have, and a game better than Atlanta. Game 1 of this series, overall in series play, the Brewers are 27-11-2. In game 1s, they're 28-12. So they have been fantastic in game 1s. That's a big reason why they are 27-11-2 in series. You win game 1, you have a lot less pressure on yourself to win those final 2 games. Although 22-18 in game 2, not great. 24-15 in the final game of 3-game series, and 2-3 in a 4th game if you have that series. All right, coming up on the leadoff show, we've got a nice long hour and a half show for you here today. As always, we will get to Eye on the Enemy, tell you about Bryce Miller, the pitcher the Brewers are facing today. Kyle Harrison, big note for him, lowering his ERA without even pitching since his last outing. We'll talk about him and what he has done recently. Of course, we'll get to our keys of the game towards the end of the leadoff show. We've got to check in with the expert over at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. We'll get a parlay for the people. I think we're going to go with someone to hit a home run today. I was thinking about it on my way in. There's a note that I've been waiting to share somewhere, just haven't really got around to it. We're gonna get to that note, and we're gonna put a home run in our parlay for the people today as well. A lot to get to. We'll hear from Pat Murphy in the pregame. Ross Jensen was on the Wisconsin Sports Daily Show with Steve Sparky Pfeiffer earlier today. We'll hear about some of the prospects that the Brewers have, especially when we get to that building a winner segment. So a lot more to get to today. A lot more to get to on the leadoff show. We got a little over an hour yet here. Aaron Morse with you. Don't go anywhere. We're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
Looking up, and it is gone.
It's almost time for the first pitch. Let's see who's in today's starting lineups. Brought to you by Lakeland University. Experience it your way. Visit lakeland.edu. It's the leadoff show on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
Welcome back into the leadoff show. Thanks to Lakeland for being part of the leadoff show each and every game. Starting lineups for the Seattle Mariners. Brendan Donovan, former Cardinal, leads off at third base. Randy Arozarena hits second in left field. Dominic Canzone's a designated hitter. Julio Rodriguez cleans up at center field. Josh Naylor, the first baseman, bats fifth. Cole Young, the second baseman. Then Cal Raleigh hits seventh. He's catching. Victor Robles, the right fielder, bats eighth. And Brock Rodden rounds out the lineup at shortstop. For the Milwaukee Brewers, Bryce Terang is back in the starting lineup. He leads off at second base. Hitting second in left field is Jackson Churio. Jake Bowers hits third at first base. William Contreras does the catching. He's back in the cleanup spot. Christian Yelich hitting fifth. He's the DH. Luis Lara in right field bats sixth. Garrett Mitchell in center field hitting seventh. Joey Ortiz bats eighth at short, and David Hamilton at third base batting ninth. It's Kyle Harrison against Bryce Miller here tonight at American Family Field, the first of a 3-game series with the Mariners, the first of a 6-game homestand for the Crew. Before we start looking a little bit more at this game here tonight, Logan Henderson was on MLB Network today, on MLB Tonight. It looks like Greg Amsinger and Dan Plesac were talking with him. Here's a little bit of that conversation just a little bit ago.
I watched the game the other day. Changeup is dynamic. Have you always had a good changeup?
It's always been there. I would say around COVID was when it really took off. And I remember when the shutdown happened, me and a couple buddies were out playing catch in the fields and, kind of found it, started really turning it over and pronating it hard. So have really just stuck with that ever since. And it's been a really big weapon for me.
You have a lot of deception in your mechanics. Have your mechanics always looked like this?
Yeah, for the most part, I just try to stay as athletic as possible out there. There's not a whole lot of thought really behind my throw other than just throwing it with conviction and through the mitt.
Logan, in the game Sunday, I've always wondered what it would look like 60 feet, 6 inches away from a guy like Ohtani. Does he look as big as he looks on TV when you're looking at him in the batter's box?
Yeah, he does. He's certainly got a presence in the box, especially with his bat up tall like that and upright. But, he's definitely one of the bigger hitters in the league for sure.
What is the vibe within your rotation? Jacob Mizorowski gets a ton of attention right now. There was talk that the Brewers needed to go big and get a guy like Tarek Skubal at the trade deadline. But they believe in what they have. And you and Kyle Harrison having this big breakout year. Kyle goes tonight for your Brewers team. What is the conversation like within the starting rotation for your club?
Yeah, I mean, I think we all work really hard, and we're doing everything we can in between starts to get ready for the start, and we're trying to get better. So a lot of dialogue about how we can get better, and we're always competing with each other. So, it's been a really good vibe.
Yeah.
So a little bit from Logan Henderson earlier today on MLB Tonight, MLB Network, after his start on Sunday. He's now 7-2 with a 2.70 ERA. Another MLB Network clip here. Mark DeRosa is breaking down Logan Henderson. Now, this admittedly, this is maybe a little tough to play over radio because there's some visuals going on as he's explaining, but you can hear Mark DeRosa talking about the different things that Logan Henderson does to be successful.
Logan Henderson. If Skubal was going to get traded to the Milwaukee Brewers, You know who was going back?
Logan Henderson.
This guy. You think he wasn't thinking about that when he stepped on the mound yesterday? I'm going to take on the guy who they thought I was getting traded for. And the Brewers believed in me enough not to make the deal. And he went out and he established a 4-seam heater to Andy Paz, who's hitting third in their lineup. Boom, boom, boom. Establish it right in the first inning. And then Max Muncy, the heater, and then the tunnel changeup off it was incredible. Muncy clips him his next AB. But good Lord, man, that circle changeup coming out of the same arm action was special. Ohtani, This is not a guy who lights up the radar gun. It's 93 to 94, but he consistently shows it to you. It's got ride, it's got run, and it sets up that dirty dead fish he's got right there of a changeup. I want to show you. This is the pitch movement profile. He's throwing. This is like throwing against the wall, paint splatters. Okay? So I want you to focus on, this is his four-seamer, the red, and this is his changeup, the green. This is the average. Pitchers are nailing their changeup in this vicinity. Four-seamer in that vicinity. Look at the ride and the run that he's got just to get off your barrel. It's different. And he's able to accomplish it time and time again, and he showed it yesterday. I thought it was phenomenal. So he can get back in. And what else? Look at the seventh inning against Mookie. You don't see right-on-right changeups too often. It's just not a pitch a lot of right-handers would throw to a good right-handed hitter. Because if they miss over the heart and anybody's staying back, that's an easy pitch to clip. But he's not afraid to throw it. Four-seam fastball versus righties, versus lefties, it's the same. Look at the cutter usage, but look at the changeup. He'll throw it 20% of the time to the right-handers. So I thought that was interesting as well.
So a little bit from Mark DeRosa on MLB Network last night, and the paint splattered thing he's talking about. There's a cluster of pitches where they end up. It throws the average, and he's talking about the rise and the run. And so his ball is more up to the right with his fastball and his changeup than the average pitcher and where that lands, because he's got his ball doesn't rise, but it's got the illusion of rising. It doesn't drop as much, and it runs arm side, right-hand side, more than the average pitcher, and by a decent amount over and over and over again. DeRosa saying that's a big reason why he's successful. He throws his fastball, his four-seamer, almost the exact same percentage to lefties and to righties, and the changeup that he's throwing, 20% to the righties, compared to about 35 or so to the lefties. The right-handed 20% changeup is much higher than the average right-hander throwing to righties. So DeRosa pointed out maybe that's the reason why he's having success as well, even though that's a pitch that usually can get hit pretty hard. All right, let's get into it. Enough of Sunday's game. How about tonight? What are the Brewers going to be dealing with?
Nobody likes them.
Craig Counsell returning to American Family Field.
We all want to see them lose.
It's not my job to tell people how to feel about something, or even to figure it out. Let people feel how they want to feel, and I'm good with that, and I think it doesn't have to be all positive.
It's time to eye up the enemy for today's game. It's the Leadoff Show on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
All right, the Brewers are going to be going against Bryce Miller. Bryce Miller has not pitched a full season. He started on the injured list. And when he came off the injured list, he was fantastic. His numbers were great. But as the season has moved along, or his season's moved along, he's been struggling. His first month back, 4 starts in May, 1.71 ERA. 4 starts in June, 2.19 ERA. Then 5 starts in July, 4.13. 2 starts in August, 7.36. And his ERA has basically gone from 1.33 to 3.39, so a 2-run difference since the beginning of June to now. His last start was on Wednesday, the 12th, and he went 6 innings against the Yankees, 8 hits, 5 earned. One of them was a home run on 89 pitches. And then he also pitched on the 6th, on Thursday the 6th, against the Tigers. They lost 11-0 in that game. 5 innings, 5 hits, 2 walks, 4 runs, 1 homer given up. So he has not been good his last 2 outs. Brewers trying to take advantage of that tonight. There have been a decent bit of at-bats against Bryce Miller, despite them being an interleague game. Bryce Terang 0 for 2, 2 Ks. Jackson Chourio 0 for 2 with a K. Jake Bauers 2 for 6 with a homer, couple RBIs, 2 strikeouts. William Contreras 2 for 3 with a K, and Christian Yelich 0 for 3. Lara, Mitchell, Ortiz, Hamilton have not faced Bryce Miller. Rich Rovito is a writer around the area. He was saying that Dan Wilson today, this is what Dan Wilson, manager of the Mariners, said about the Brewers. I think part of this is just kind of being nice, but says, quote, they're going to come at you in a lot of different ways. They'll put bunts down, put pressure on the bases, steal bags. They also have the ability to hit the home run. You kind of have to prepare for all areas of the game. And he goes on to say, pitching is huge for us. One of our strengths, and keeping them off the bases, keeping their offense quiet is going to be key in this series. Yeah, Dan, the Brewers can win in a lot of different ways. Now, the home run, I don't agree with you. They have 113 home runs on the season. That's it. But they do have guys that can hit the home run. They just don't really do it. Bowers can, and Cherio can. Contreras can, but he hasn't really done it in quite some time consistently. So there's a few guys that can, but they don't really. So maybe some niceties from Dan Wilson. But the general thought is right from him that the Brewers can beat you in a bunch of different ways offensively, and you're going to have to prepare for all of those different ways. All right, meanwhile, for the Brewers tonight, Kyle Harrison gets the start. Great news for Kyle Harrison as an individual and what's happened. He has lost a ton on his ERA, and he hasn't even pitched since his last outing. He loses 5 earned runs because of the play in San Diego where Ji-Hwan Bae dropped the ball. It was hit to David Hamilton at third, stepped on third, threw to second. Ji-Hwan Bae dropped it. Would have been a double play. Pat Murphy thinks it could have been a triple play. Very likely could have been with a better throw a little bit and a catch. It was turned to an error, which means instead of 8 earned runs, it is now 3 earned runs out of the 8, and his ERA goes from 3.5 to 2.99. So Kyle Harrison back down to a sub-3 ERA thanks to that error given to Ji-Hwan Bae in San Diego in that blowout loss to the Padres. Kyle Harrison on the season, 9-3, 2.99 ERA, 1.13 WHIP in 93 and a thirds innings, 114 Ks to 24 homers. He's given up 13 home runs in those 93 innings. Teams are hitting 228 against him. He's 13. The team is 13-6 in his starts. He has 6 quality starts in the year. Last time out in San Diego, as I mentioned, 4 2/3, 10 hits, 8 runs, 3 earned, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts, and 3 homers given up. So not a great start for Kyle Harrison, who was coming off the injured list. That's just his second start since then. On August 5th, he had a fantastic start. First time back, 5 innings, 1 hit, 1 walk, 10 Ks. That is when he struck out all of those Pirates in a row. So something changed in those 2 starts. Hopefully the Brewers get Kyle Harrison against Pittsburgh rather than whatever West Coast Kyle Harrison is. Only one batter has faced Kyle Harrison in his career. It's Josh Naylor. He's 2 for 6 with 2 RBIs. Every other player has not faced Kyle Harrison in his career. All right, let's take a break. Trying to figure out what we want to do the rest of the way, how we want to lay out the show. We got to hear from Pat Murphy yet. I want to play Ross Jensen, who was on the Wisconsin Sports Daily Show with Steve Sparky Pfeiffer just earlier today, talking about the prospects in the Brewers system. So I want to play that yet. Building a winner segment coming up as well. We'll get all to it. Let's go with Pat Murphy when we come back. We'll hear from the manager when we return here on the leadoff show. Aaron Morse with you. Brewers and Mariners coming up at 6:30. 1 hour from now, we're leading you up to it right here live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
Looking up, and it is gone.
It's almost time for the first pitch. Let's see who's in today's starting lineups. Brought to you by Lakeland University. Experience it your way. Visit lakeland.edu. It's the leadoff show on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
Brewers and Mariners tonight at 6:40 from American Family Field. First of a 3-game series of interleague play. The Mariners will lead off third baseman Brendan Donovan, familiar foe. Randy Arozarena bats second in left field. Dominic Canzone is the designated hitter, batting third. Julio Rodriguez hits fourth. He is in center field. Josh Naylor, the first baseman, hits fifth. Cole Young, the second baseman, hits sixth. Cal Raleigh, big-time struggles this year, hits seventh at catcher. Victor Robles in right field hits eighth. And batting ninth, Brock Rodden, the shortstop. For the Brewers, Bryce Terang is back in the starting lineup. He's at second base, leading off. Jackson Churio hits second in left field. Hitting third is Jake Bowers. He's at first. William Contreras catches today in the cleanup spot. Christian Yelich hits fifth as the designated hitter. Luis Lara, the right fielder, hits sixth. Garrett Mitchell back in center field at seven. Batting eighth, Joey Ortiz at shortstop. And David Hamilton hits ninth at third base. It's Kyle Harrison against Bryce Miller here tonight. We're just about 1 hour away from first pitch at American Family Field. Pat Murphy spoke before the game. Let's dig into that.
Line drive, base hit, down the left field line.
Let's see what the skipper has to say heading into today's game. Let's head to the Coach's Corner. It's the leadoff show on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
How did Terang go? He said he got injured yesterday.
Yeah. He's going to play tonight. If you haven't seen the lineup, he's in there tonight. And, it's something we got to manage. We got to manage his workload. We got to manage his pregame. He's a tireless worker pregame. He's like old school pregame, every BP, every ground ball session, extra during BP, extra in the cage. We got to monitor it.
Is that mapped out, or will it kind of be on field as he goes forward?
No, we've worked on that the last few days. We want to collaborate with him, and we're doing that. So, it started today.
What's the plan for Sal?
Sal needs to play a little bit more. We got to make sure that after he has an aggressive day of throwing, he was fine, and then we're going to make sure that it happens again the next day. Aggressive day of throwing. We can't afford to put him back on and then do that. So we want to make sure. So he's going to play some more.
Will he go from here to Appleton with Cooper, or after
I
today?
don't know if they decided Cooper or he's going to Norfolk.
Okay.
One or the other. Actually, Sal and I are meeting after this session. Lot tickets.
How have the games gone as far? Has he got opportunities to let it go?
Yeah. And he felt good after. First time he threw the bases, he came back the next day not feeling great. Then he played in the game, then he played the game as an outfielder. First 3 plays right at him, had to throw. He came out the next day and said, I felt great. Now we got to make sure that happens.
Just stack these like that.
Yep.
And how about Cooper? They said 5 to 7 innings is what we got tonight. Will there be multiple games?
We'll see how he feels after the game. If he feels it at all, there'll be more games. And maybe, more sessions of more rest, whatever. But he's been tested a bunch during the week in LA. So we think that's what it takes. And you could see him back as early as tomorrow.
Back to Bryce for a second.
Yeah.
For a player to back off when he's so used to that routine that he's in, like how.
Yeah, being good is tough, I think.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? From all the people that I know that are good, it's tough. And that's what they tell me. So it's like adjustments and changes, and we got to keep doing that as people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And especially the guys that are really, really impactful.
What have you learned about Harry as a competitor and how he bounces back from, like what happened in San Diego?
Yeah, I mean, I think I think Harry knows some of those pivotal moments to be able to make pitches and do different things. So I think pitchers need these reminders because we're all an inch from the top and an inch from the bottom. And I think he'll go out there with laser focus against a really good ball club. That lineup it's a good lineup.
Just because he's so fastball heavy, 2-pitch guy.
Three pitch.
Mostly 2-pitch.
Come on. Come on.
He hasn't thrown the changeup much. It's kind of been sprayed around a little bit.
Come on, Jack. He's a 3-pitch guy.
When he's maybe not a 5-pitch guy like some other guys, does that pose some unique challenges for him when the fastball's maybe not playing how he wants it to?
Well, there you say it. Whether he's a 5-pitch guy, whatever. If the fastball's not playing, then that's why you add pitches. But he's been really good for us with the fastball playing up. So hopefully we see that going forward.
We've talked so much about Jake, and thinking back to spring training 2 years ago, Bowers,
okay.
The
don't have a command of all the players' names. That's hard to do.
Did you remember anything about that spring or him being a non-roster that year?
Yeah.
And just to what he's become now.
Yeah, I think that's what makes him. Jake Bowers is an example to so many major leaguers out there right now that not to settle for what's going on. Like you're a part-time player, you're up and down, can't get a major league job. You got to find people that believe in you, and you got to understand that, if you know what that feels like, and then know what adjustments you need to make in order to stay in the big leagues. I wasn't looking for him to hit for power. I wasn't looking. I was looking for him to be a good baseball player. Because you're going to face guys like the guy we're facing tonight. You're going to face Scooble. You're going to face, the guys that can survive versus ones and twos. And you don't survive just trying to go deep. I think when everybody saw Jake's power, I think everybody was interested in like, hey, you got to pull the ball in the air. Hey, you got to do more of that. Yeah, of course, we'd all like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. When you see a real fast guy, you want to put him at wide receiver. But there's more to it. So I think Jake was always a pretty darn good hitter. I was lucky enough to be with him as, when he broke in with the Padres in the low minor leagues. Like, he was a ball player that can hit, and I think we're quick to make that power try to come to fruition before it's ready to.
How much is his positional versatility in his offense stand out more? Just getting in the lineup every day.
Yeah, I mean that's good for any player that can, especially play outfield and infield. I think that's huge asset.
And this year against lefties too, right? That's probably the biggest adjustment you've seen.
What's interesting is like, it's not my theory, but a theory on hitting lefties hitting lefties. You got to do it a lot. You got to see it a lot. I mean, there's no other way to build your ability to do it well than to see it and then have a really good plan against it. So I think giving him the opportunity to do that has proven to be the reason.
Has his versatility helped him become a better leader in the clubhouse from last year to this year?
I mean, people lead in different ways. Everybody has leadership qualities. I don't believe that this guy's a leader, this guy's not. I think everybody has bits and pieces of leadership, and it comes out at different times, and you get to reveal your character, and both sides of it comes out. The good and the bad, and I think Jake has won the trust of his teammates, and he knows it. Now the issue is, I try to do too much.
Worth understanding your focus is on your team. Have you seen what Cal Raleigh has done this year? Just kind of how striking this season has been.
I've heard about it. I love the guy, man. I love who he is. I've never met him, but I love who he is. I love what he's about. Sorry, Todd, you're so thought-provoking. I did. Todd, yeah, Todd, such thought-provoking. No, it's like this guy's a tremendous ball player, and we can see in the sample size and whatever else you can say, oh, he's having a down year. I guess you can look at it that way. But
All right, pausing there for that weather update. We'll get back here to manager Pat Murphy again, pregame here, just a couple minutes more.
I guess you can look at it that way, but he's a great player, and he's going through it. And he plays an important position and does it well. And I just love the player.
Did Abner get his
Bullpen right now.
Yeah. Is that? Can we read that he's already throwing bullpens? That it's pretty
Possibly,
good chance. That
possibly
this is
you could read into that. That might be not exactly. It might not be prudent or short-sighted. It could be short-sighted of you, but you're usually not short-sighted. But you do have the one bad ball. So short-sighted might be on the table. No, the fact that he's throwing is good. I mean, I'm hoping it comes out good.
Joey's been pulling the ball a lot over this last month and a half.
Pulling
the ball a lot.
I hate where this question's going, but go ahead and go with it.
Is that more a result of his success or a reason for his success?
Absolutely a result.
So it's his confidence at the plate that's allowing him to jump out of inside pitch more often.
Exactly. To get to it. And
in general, when guys are feeling more confident at the plate, when they're seeing the ball better, is that going to lead to more pulled balls in there?
no, not necessarily. Depends where the pitch is. Depends on your swing, where the pitch is, what your contact point is, all that kind of stuff. But generally speaking, when you're seeing the ball as big as a grapefruit, you get the ball more out front. You can possibly get the ball more out front, which might lead to more balls redirected to your strong side. It's another way for pulling. I don't like that word. It's just.
I know the results have been a little inconsistent for him, but what have you taken away from Sensa's how his first few out this year?
I don't judge the first couple outings just because we're going to rely on this guy, and he's been through a lot in his career, and he just needs to settle in and understand how we want to go about it, see how he fits into that, and I think he can be a real valuable asset.
The velo bump since he's come over here stood out.
Yeah, I didn't know it from before. I heard about it, but I'm not worried about velo as much as I am commanding the baseball and using that two-seamer, using that cutter, and occasionally four and breaking ball.
All right, that was Pat Murphy again, pregame conversation with the media. Reminder, you can watch the show, the leadoff show, on the Growth Law video stream. We are live on X, YouTube, Facebook, at WI Sports Radio. Injured Growth Gets It. We did have a little pause there. If you were on the video stream, no audio. There wasn't a weather alert, so that's why no audio. I just figured sync it up with Pat Murphy instead of keep running on the stream and not on the radio. So that's what that pause was on our video stream. Just had a message in on that Growth Law video stream. Aaron chiming in, game is on Channel 6 tonight. Yes, it is a local game on over the air because it's a Tuesday night home game. So you can watch it for free if you have Channel 6. So go crazy if you don't have Brewers TV. Tonight, it is Brewers and Mariners, game one of a 3-game series. Game number 126 on the year, 64 at home. First of a 6-game homestand for the Brewers. More on the leadoff show when we return. We'll hear from Ross Jensen. Building a Winner segment coming up next, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
It's almost time for the first pitch. Let's see who's in today's starting lineups. Brought to you by Lakeland University. Experience it your way. Visit lakeland.edu. It's the leadoff show on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
Welcome back into the leadoff show. Aaron Morse with you here for another half hour or so as the Brewers are getting ready to take on the Seattle Mariners. It's Kyle Harrison against Bryce Miller. For the Mariners, Brendan Donovan leads off at third base. Randy Arozarena, the left fielder, hits second. Dominic Canzone, the designated hitter, in the 3 spot. Cleaning up today for the Mariners, center fielder Julio Rodriguez. Josh Naylor bats fifth at first base. Cole Young, the second baseman, hits sixth. In the 7th spot is Cal Raleigh, the catcher. Victor Robles in right field. Brock Rodden at shortstop. Bryce Terang is back in the lineup for the Brewers. He leads off at second base. Jackson Churio hits second in left field. Jake Bowers is the first baseman today, hitting third. Contreras hits fourth and catches. Christian Yelich is the designated hitter in the 5 spot. Batting sixth, Luis Lara, the right fielder. Garrett Mitchell's the center fielder, batting 7th. Joey Ortiz, the shortstop today, hits 8th. And David Hamilton is at third base, batting 9th. Cal Raleigh, if you're wondering why he is batting 7th, wow, Cal Raleigh, such a good year. If you haven't necessarily been paying attention to them that much, the Mariners are probably one of the 2 most disappointing teams in baseball this year. Add them along with the Blue Jays. Cal Raleigh hitting 158 with a 268 on base, a 568 OPS, 13 homers, 44 RBIs. He has just 52 hits this season. That is why he is down in the 7th spot for the Mariners. All right, it's time for our Building a Winner segment.
The key to building a winner in baseball is a strong minor league system. Who are the names we should know? How did they play in their last game? It's time for Building a Winner. It's the leadoff show powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
All right, we're going to do a little something different today on the Building a Winner segment. Earlier today on Wisconsin Sports Daily with Steve Sparky Pfeiffer, Ross Jensen joined the show. They talked about prospects for the Brewers, the prospect ratings, and how the Brewer system looks now post-trade deadline. Here is that conversation just a couple of hours ago.
Charlie, my producer, and I had a conversation last hour about Christian Yelich. His numbers are worse offensively than Kyle Tucker's numbers are at this point. And it's like, hey, man, you had a back spasm. He's been dealing with back issues for years. Everybody will believe you. And then send him down to Arizona and let him do the same thing, clear his head and everything else. I got a text message here from the 715 that says, "Dear God, why would you spend the whole show talking about Yelich, ignoring your topic? Why not just give him a chance to make the postseason roster?" In what world, Ross Jensen, is Christian Yelich not going to make the Brewers postseason roster?
Oh, he'll be there for sure.
Yes.
You can't leave him off.
No. I don't care how bad he is. The man's not only going to be on the roster, he'll be in the starting lineup game to game in the postseason as well. I saw you put on X your thoughts about MLB Pipeline's farm rankings after the trade deadline, and saw you really digging in on some Brewers-related stuff. And when I teased you last hour of coming out, I'm like, no, he does not live in Milwaukee. No, he is not a huge Brewers fan. Like, this is a guy from a national perspective kind of digging in on this Brewers minor league system, and that's why I wanted to have you on. So why do you think your model of how you do it has them ranked 1, where I believe MLB Pipeline has them ranked, 3 at this point, and dropped them down a couple of pegs and have the Dodgers, of course, at 1?
Well, I mean, it's kind of hard to explain, right? They trade for Tariq Skubal. They moved some really excellent prospects, and then they went up in rankings. It's just an odd one. The Brewers, meanwhile, I mean, they've been cranking out prospects at an incredible pace, developing these guys so well just over the last year. So what I actually did is I pulled out some data from Prospects Live. We do rankings that go 600, 700, 800 prospects deep, and we have 7 evaluators that are chipping in on these. So they're pretty extensive. And I trace back every ranking set, and we're now doing this like every day. We're making little tweaks adjustments just to see how it's changed over time. And the Brewers, through this whole history going back to last year, were still on the top the entire timeline. So that was really all I was really getting at is this system is getting, for whatever reason, overlooked. And even some of the guys that we have ranked in our own rankings, I feel like are a little too low compared to what our data modeling says on the Scout the Stat Line side. So to me, it's just an incredibly robust, deep system. And I was opining a little bit on X not that long ago. Somebody was lamenting how the Dodgers had just landed Skubal. And I had said, maybe we're the ones that have it wrong. Maybe the Brewers know what they're doing. They have the best record in baseball in the National League. And right now, their system is cooking. They didn't have to give anyone up to maintain that position. So who are we to question? And I get it. Like, the Dodgers have those titles, and that's what it's all about at the end of the day. But look, we're looking forward, not what happened.
Correct.
Right. So to me, like, they're set up for success in the future too. They're good now. They're going to be great later. Like, it's just a good time to be a Brewers fan, in my opinion. And this is coming from an unbiased position because I'm not a Brewers fan.
Right, exactly right. Yes. Ross Jensen joins us here. Follow him on X at Ross Jensen12. Statline Scout, and follow that at Statline Scout. You talk about your model and how you guys go about doing this. What are some of the things that maybe you focus on as Statline Scout that maybe others who evaluate farm systems and those that do that maybe don't see or don't put as much emphasis on as you do?
Yeah, so let me start with the Scout the Stat Line side of things. This is really kind of how I broke into the scene. We developed a data model that really projects players forward, and we've been doing this since, I think we started in 2019. We've really kind of expanded over the years. It's grown to be quite the operation, but it's all data-based. It's using all kinds of data, advanced data, everything, but it's really about hunting the next big thing down before they become the next big thing.
You guys hunted down Pete Crow Armstrong before anybody was talking about Pete Crow Armstrong, if memory serves correct.
Yeah, so I just posted something about that yesterday. PCA was one of the guys that we were talking about going back into 2022, I believe. And he seemed like he was going to be really good moving forward. And sure enough, here we are. So that's been a lot of fun. I've expanded my personal baseball empire, I guess, to now include Prospects Live, and that's where the timeline came from. So that's a little bit more traditional scouts going in and evaluating these players. So that's the one I was referring to in this particular instance. But on the model side, you have some really interesting players popping on there that I think are just being really overlooked, like Luke Adams as an example. He's a guy that our data model absolutely loves and has for years. And it just doesn't matter like how much scouts try to keep him down. It keeps pushing him up and saying this guy is going to be pretty good. It's just an example.
Well, what about the international side of things for the Milwaukee Brewers? You traded Ragsdale in that deal. Okay, fine. I wasn't too pleased about that, but he wasn't all that great last year and then popped this year. But then you also had, who was it, Arias, I think it was, that also got traded at that point too. Right, and that was a guy that I really liked. But again, ground ball rate was too high, wasn't getting enough lift in the ball. But he's, 18, 19 years old. He's super young at this point, so we'll see how that develops. But he's gone, and then this kid Atunius now is just actually hammering the ball down there right now at Wilson, down at A-ball. And then you have Monets, or however you say his name. Everybody likes that guy. It is crazy how well they're doing on that side of things, not involving the draft, just international signings and then developing those guys.
Yeah, one guy I would highlight is Leanders Matos. He made my personal top 100 prospects list down in the DSL. He's scorching down there right now. He's at least a top 3 prospect from the DSL, in my opinion. So that's just another example.
Now, who is Leanders Matos? Because not everybody besides you and me follow minor league baseball to this nerdy depth. Because I love it. I'm kind of addicted to reading all this stuff all the time. But tell everybody about Leanders Matos.
So he was signed, it looks like, for $300,000 in the most recent international class, 17 years old. He has a really strong hit tool. He gets on base. I think he's got 20 home runs on the season already for a 17-year-old whose calling card is really on-base skills and the hit tool. I think that's very impressive. So we might be seeing some fireworks when it comes stateside next year, I think.
From the Brewers' perspective, at the top of their farm system right now, people talk about Madej, people talk about Pena at the top. Are you as in love with both of those guys as, say, MLB Pipeline and others?
Well, this might cause a little controversy with your group because I actually don't have Madej number one. I've got Eli Willits as my number one prospect. I think Madej is an excellent prospect, so don't get me wrong. I really do like him, but probably not quite as much as BA and MLB Pipeline do. But on the other hand, Luis Pena is somebody that I love. I absolutely love him. I think he's got an underrated hit tool. This year, he had some health issues, and I think that kind of stunted his power development. But I think we're going to see some more of that down the road. And then they've got a couple other guys that are really rising this year. Braylon Payne, who's somebody that I've loved since he was drafted.
Payne and Pena just get promoted to Biloxi here. So that team has been loaded all year already, and most of these guys came from the Timber Rattlers at High A.
Yep, absolutely. Yes. I was telling everybody, you got to see this team last year because it's like an all-star team.
Yep.
I get it, like it's the low minor leagues, but I mean that team was loaded, just stacked. And then another riser this year, perhaps one of the most surprising ones. There's a couple of them. Josh Adamczewski, he's been a really big one. He's just, people are calling him McGonagall light, and I think his hit tool is maybe a tier lower than that, but he is solid all around as far as an offensive talent anyway. And Andrew Fisher currently leading the minor leagues in home runs.
But not getting any love in a top 100 because they say, well, he strikes out too much. That's an issue. I went and looked at Baez's numbers, who just got called up by the Cardinals, Joshua Baez, because, he hits 3 home runs. So I went and looked at his minor league numbers. Now, again, I understand Fisher's at AA, Baez is at AAA, so 2 different levels of pitching. But that dude's strikeout numbers weren't that much different from Andrew Fisher's strikeout numbers necessarily. And he was sitting around 300. Now, what happens? He hits the 3 home runs. He hasn't had a hit since in the last couple of games up here. But, I don't get it. Because for a Brewers team that has been knocked for the last several years off, they don't have enough power. Well, there is definitely power coming right now in this farm system, whether it's Blake Burke, whether it's Luke Adams, like you're talking about, whether it's Fisher, whether it's Braylon Payne. I mean, they have power coming. And I think there has definitely been a change in how they go about drafting since David Stearns left.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you're pretty spot on. In fact, somebody asked me that exact question about Fisher compared to Baez on X just the other day. My response to them was like, well, I think the difference here is people are excited because Baez has the elite bat speed and speed to go and athleticism to go with it. Might outpace Fisher a little bit, but still, the guy's in AA. He's not in the low minors, and he's crushing. It's like every other day he's hitting the bomb. And even I was sleeping on Fisher for a long time myself. A lot of it had to do with the strikeouts, but at some point you just have to kind of recognize that that's the way this guy is. And you know what? There's a place for that.
There's guys in the major leagues that strike out a ton, but also have a ton of power that have been in the leagues a long time. And again, I'm going to say the obvious name in Kyle Schwarber, but I mean, there are guys like that. And Muncy's another one with the Dodgers, right? He's going to strike out as well, but he has that big power. Now, defensively, I don't know what Fisher is defensively necessarily as far as, because everybody says he still needs work at third base and so forth, whether he's third, whether he's first, whether he's a DH, not quite sure. How much do your numbers put defense into play when you're ranking these guys, or is it strictly just based on offense?
It used to just be strictly offense. We were projecting out weighted runs created plus. Now we've advanced our data modeling to include wins above replacement, which includes defense. So we are weighing that. Fisher does all right in the model. I would say he's probably a guy that performs better in real, at least from the Prospects Live, from our evaluators, he ranks higher than he does in our data model.
Perfect. There he is, Ross Jensen. on X at Ross Jensen 12 at Steinline Scout as well. Prospects Live. Is that the name of the X account there as well?
Yes, at Prospects Live.
Perfect.
And that's these guys. You'll notice the logo.
It's trying to sell merchandise right here. I mean, you might as well try and sell it, right? We're live streaming on X, on YouTube, on the Fan Milwaukee Facebook page, on Instagram Live. We're everywhere. Hey, Ross, thanks so much for coming on, man.
All right, so that is, again, Ross Jensen earlier today talking Brewers prospects with Steve Sparky Pfeiffer on Wisconsin Sports Daily. About 15 minutes away, we are 13 minutes away from the leadoff show wrapping up here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, getting you set for first pitch in Milwaukee. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We got to get to the Potawatomi Sportsbook, check in with the expert, and keys to the game as well. It's the leadoff show live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
It's almost time for the first pitch. Let's see who's in today's starting lineups. Brought to you by Lakeland University. Experience it your way. Visit lakeland.edu. It's the leadoff show on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
Welcome back into the leadoff show. Aaron Morse with you here today. Let's take a look at those starting lineups for the final time here on the show. For the Seattle Mariners, Brendan Donovan leads off at third base. Then Randy Arozarena, Dominic Canzone. 4, 5, 6, Julio Rodriguez in center field. Josh Naylor at first, Cole Young at second. And 7, 8, 9, Cal Raleigh catching, Victor Robles in right, and Brock Rodden at shortstop. They'll have Bryce Miller on the mound, 4 and 6 with a 3.39 ERA. For the Brewers, Bryce Terang is back in the lineup. He's leading off at second base. Jackson Churio in left field, and Jake Bowers at first base are the top three. 4, 5, 6, William Contreras catches, Christian Yelich, the DH, and Luis Lara in right field. 7, 8, 9, Garrett Mitchell in center, Joey Ortiz at short, and David Hamilton at third base. Kyle Harrison on the mound for the Crew, 9 and 3, with a 2.99 ERA so far this season. All right, we got to head over to the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
At the wall, looking up. See you later.
Let's get the latest on today's odds for the game. What's the best way to go? Let's check in with our expert from the Potawatomi Sportsbook to find out. It's the leadoff show on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
All right, we head over to the Potawatomi Sportsbook. We're going to make a $5 bet because if you're over there and you put $5 on a bet, you can get their shuttle free to and from the game. So if you lose the bet, it's just cost $5. If you win the bet, they're basically paying you to take the shuttle. What a great deal over at Potawatomi Sportsbook. Right now on the money line, the Brewers are minus 180. Run line of minus 1.5, as always, plus 125. And the total runs is 7.5. Over is minus 114, under 106. We're going to go Brewers to win. Straight up money line, Brewers to win, minus 180. And then I told you we're going to do a home run on this parlay. We're going to do a home run because I've been waiting for this. I saw this stat the other day. I've been waiting to use it. We're just going to use it on the leadoff show. If I can find it, it's somewhere bookmarked. I'll find it eventually. It's Jackson Churio. Jackson Churio is going to homer today. And here it is. Opta Stats on Twitter says Jackson Churio is one home run away from becoming the fourth player with at least 60 homers, 50 stolen bases, and 200 RBIs before his 23rd birthday in National League history. Only other three players in the National League to do that, Orlando Cepeda, Cesar Cedeno, and Hall of Famer Andrew Jones. Recent Hall of Famer, I should say, Andrew Jones. So we're going to say that Jackson Churio is going to do it today. Churio is going to become the fourth National League player in National League history to hit 60 homers, 50 steals, 200 RBIs before his 23rd birthday. He's going to do it this year. He's got until the end of the regular season to do it because he doesn't have his birthday till the beginning of next year. So we're going to go very simple. Brewers money line, which is minus 180, in Jackson Churio to homer, plus 390. You put $5 down. We're going to win it today. The parlay is going to hit today for $25.50. That's what you're winning, a potential payout of $30.50 over at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Again, if you wager that $5, you get a free shuttle to and from the game tonight, which starts in about 14 minutes from now. We got a few minutes left here on the leadoff show. So, of course, as always, we got to end with the keys of the game.
How does the Crew win today's game? Who needs to step up? Let's find out with the keys to the game. It's the leadoff show on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
All right, key to the game. Well, the key is just let's get a Jackson Churio homer. How about that for a key to the game? Get some home runs. Bryce Miller is one of the worst pitchers in terms of giving up pull side fly balls. Pull side fly balls. It is the easiest way for hitters to hit a home run, obviously, pull side fly balls. And Bryce Miller is in the bottom 15, bottom 10 of that statistic. It's about the Brewers can get to Bryce Miller. They just get the ball in the air, pull side. Get a little early, get aggressive, hit the ball in the air, hit a couple homers tonight at American Family Field. Hopefully the Brewers can come away with the victory. So I'll go pull side fly balls is the key to the game tonight. And Kyle Harrison's got to pitch like he's not on the West Coast, which he's not. He's in the Midwest, so should be good on that front. A couple other quick notes before we head off for the evening until at least the post game, because I will be with Tim Allen, as always, make the switch after the last pitch for the Potawatomi Sportsbook post game show. Tim Allen will be here. I will be here as well. We'll do the post game with you guys following the game. Some medical updates for the Brewers. Brian Fitzpatrick, UCL reconstruction. We knew that. Estimated return middle of next year. Sal Frelick currently working on that right shoulder. He'll work out with the major league team. He worked out with them today, and then his return will be later in August. Pat Murphy said he'll meet with Sal before the game. We'll see if he goes to Appleton or back down to Nashville, or if he's just going to stay with the major league team. Joel Kuhnel, August this year return some point here. Cooper Pratt will be back at some point. He is on a rehab assignment today in Appleton. So if you're in the Appleton area right now, you got nothing to do, head over to Timber Adler Stadium and watch Cooper Pratt. He's going to play for about 5 to 7 innings in a rehab appearance today. Quinn Priester, spring training. Jojo Romero still by the end of August. Abner Uribe, late August, early September. And then we know about Woodruff, Rob Zastryzny, Anel Zerpa, all going to be quite a bit of time before they come back as well. That'll do it for the leadoff show. Brewers and Mariners game 1 starting at 6:40. Enjoy the game. Go Brewers. After the last pitch, make the switch. I'll be here. Tim Allen will be here. We'll do the Potawatomi Sportsbook post-game show. We are live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Talk to you in a couple hours on the Potawatomi Sportsbook post-game show.